Ever heard that story about the $6 million comma? It's a wild one, right? A misplaced comma in a contract, and bam, someone's out $6 million. Shows how much power a tiny detail can have, kind of like what we're diving into today, actually. We're talking motor vehicle assembly inspectors and the crucial role they play.
Yeah, those small details, they can be the difference between a car that runs like a dream and one that makes the evening news, for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly. So imagine this. You walk onto this bustling factory floor,
Loud, kind of chaotic, probably smells like
metal, oil, that whole industrial vibe.
spot on. And right there in the thick of it are the motor vehicle assembly inspectors. But these aren't just folks with clipboards checking boxes. They're more like, I don't know, the Sherlock Holmes of the car world.
Love that analogy because when I was going through the RoleCatcher guide, it mentioned how inspectors got to track down faulty parts, spot hidden damage, and they're using all these super precise instruments to do it.
Absolutely. They're all up in technical drawings, using torque wrenches to make sure every bolt is tightened just right, down to the millimeter. They're constantly on the lookout for even the tiniest imperfections.
And we're not talking about your grandpa's old clunker here, right?
No, no, no. These days, with electric vehicles, self-driving features, all the tech packed into modern cars, these inspectors need to be at the top of their game. High voltage systems, sensors everywhere, software controlling everything from lane assist to braking. It's a whole different ballgame now.
So we've seen just how important these inspectors are, making sure our cars are, safe and running smoothly. But let's flip the script a bit. Is this the kind of job, with all the details, the pressure, that's right for everyone? What do you think?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? RoleCatcher does give a good rundown of the pros and cons, and there are some definite upsides, like job security. Big one these days.
Absolutely. Plus, you're working in a huge industry, playing a key role. And let's be honest, who hasn't wanted to poke around a brand new car, fresh off the line?
For sure. There's a certain appeal to that hands-on aspect, and, with cars getting more complex, the demand for skilled inspectors is only going up.
That makes sense. But I'm also seeing, like, the potential for long hours, repetitive tasks. I imagine those schematics could get a little old after a while.
Yeah, that's fair. It's like any job, there are downsides. But here's the thing. What might feel repetitive to some, others might find, well, comforting, predictable. If you're someone who likes precision, knowing each step's got to be perfect, this kind of routine can be pretty satisfying.
It's all about finding the right fit then, right? Where your strengths, what you enjoy doing, matches up with the actual work.
And speaking of matching up, RoleCatcher also gave some insight into where this job can lead. Career paths and all that.
Well, for sure. Don't overlook that part. You might start on the assembly line, but over time, with more experience, training, you could specialize. Maybe focus on electric vehicles or those driver assist systems.
Well, we're talking team lead roles, maybe even moving into management eventually. Exactly. It's a career with real potential, especially now with how fast the industry's changing. You could find yourself at the forefront of all this new car tech, working on the vehicles of the future.
Okay, so we've gotten into the nitty-gritty, the good, the maybe not so good, even gotten a whiff of that factory air, right? But say someone's listening thinking, all right, this is kind of cool. What's step one? How do they actually get started down this road, maybe find themselves under the hood of a brand new car?
Well, RoleCatcher made it clear. Hands-on experience, that's key. And they weren't kidding about starting early either. Internships, apprenticeships, anything to get you inside a plant, a QC lab, something like that.
Makes sense. Get a feel for the tools, the environment, right? I bet there's a whole language they use when talking about those specialized instruments and processes.
Oh, absolutely. It's more than just knowing the names. It's the workflow, the jargon, heck, even the pace of that assembly line. These early experiences, they build that foundation.
And what about keeping up with the times? Because the car world's changing so fast. Electric, self-driving, who knows what's next? How do you stay ahead of the curve?
Continuous learning, that's the name of the game. RoleCatcher had this whole section on courses, workshops, anything to stay up to date. Automotive tech, the latest diagnostic tools, even going to conferences. It's about showing you're adaptable, eager to learn, that you're ready for whatever rolls off the line next, no matter how high-tech it gets.
Speaking of being ready, gotta ask about those interview questions RoleCatcher gave us. Some of them were tough. Like, describe a time you had to troubleshoot a complex assembly issue. What if you haven't actually had that exact experience yet? How do you even answer that?
Yeah, those can be a little intimidating, can't they? But here's the thing. It's less about having the perfect answer and more about how you think. Can you break a problem down? Stay cool under pressure. That's what they're looking for.
So it's like giving them a peek into your problem-solving process, even if you don't have every car part memorized on day one.
Exactly. And that's where those internships, that hands-on stuff, comes in handy. Even if you've only dealt with small issues, being able to walk them through your logic, show you're organized, analytical, that makes a big difference.
So we've gone deep on what it takes to be a motor vehicle assembly inspector. But let's zoom out for a sec. What's the bigger takeaway here? What if someone's thinking, this was interesting, but the factory floor is not really my style?
Right, right. And this is where those transferable skills are huge, because it's not just about cars. That technical knowledge, the attention to detail, spotting things being off, that's valuable in a lot of fields.
So even if you never end up inspecting a car, this whole deep dive, it kind of makes you appreciate quality, precision, having that sharp eye, no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely. Whether you're coding, designing, heck, even if you're just trying to make the perfect cup of coffee, that focus on getting the details right, that's something we can all take away from this.
That's a great point to end on. So as we pull out of the factory, head back to our own lives, here's a little food for thought. Next time you see something well-made, a piece of furniture, a website that just works, whatever it is, think about what went into that and how you can bring that same level of care to your own work, whatever that may be. It's about striving for that excellence, right?
It is. Finding that inspiration and using it to raise our own game, because in the end, we all benefit when quality matters, when those details aren't overlooked.
Could agree more. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive. But for anyone who wants to keep exploring, RoleCatcher's website is the place to be. Tons of info there waiting for you. Until next time, everyone.